What is up, guys? I just kind of wanted to talk today about some stuff. So I basically just wanted to talk today about the pair of sneakers that got me into collecting sneakers in the first place. And some people are gonna think like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Why on earth was that the pair that got you into collecting? So yeah, let me just get into it. So probably around 2011 or 2012, I bought a pair of Adidas shoes for 50 bucks off Amazon. I put the shoes on my feet and I was absolutely blown away by just how comfortable the pair of shoes are. And to be honest, I have no idea what this pair of shoes is even called. This is the pair. I've had this pair for about 8 years. I've worn it out in a lot of different ways. One thing that always keeps this shoe a popular shoe in my book is what Adidas did with the insole. The inside of this shoe, Adidas put maybe one of the most comfortable arch supports inside this shoe of any shoe that I've ever purchased. And I'm still trying to figure out which shoe this actually is. I kind of got it because it had that low profile, you know, soccer shoe look, sort of street soccer look to it. It goes with a lot of different stuff. I call it my carrot shoes because these little shapes on here remind me of carrots. Also, the back end here, the piece that you use to pull your shoe on is orange, and there was like textures to it that kind of led the shoe to kind of have like a Luke Skywalker X-Wing look to it. So I really like these shoes. Yeah, I don't know, they just kind of have that old school Jedi look to them. The dirtier this shoe gets, the better it looks. It looks like a shoe that's been well worn over the course of the 8 years. It's a shoe that no matter what, I have a hard time wanting to throw it away. It's a shoe that I've never wanted to give away as well, just because it has a lot of sentimental value to it. Nowadays, the shoe collecting world is kind of completely different. You have all these kids who want to buy an $800 shoe, and you know, that shoe speaks to them because everybody else has it. I think about the shoe that got me into collecting. It's a cheap $50 shoe, and I've had it for 8 years, and I've worn this shoe so many times. I drove all the way across the country, and then I came back in this pair of shoes, and I live to tell about it. Some shoes are important, I should say, not necessarily because of the hype behind them. There's a lot of hype these days, and honestly I think hype makes everybody wear the same exact things and look almost exactly the same. It just makes everything uniform. I kind of want to fight the hype a little bit, and I want to say, you know, to people out there, yo, sometimes if a sneaker speaks to you, you should buy that sneaker, because it's really the way that you wear that sneaker that's important. It's not necessarily the sneaker itself, it's how you portray yourself in that sneaker. This is one of those sneakers that for me, it's always been an inexpensive shoe, but I've had it for so long and it looks good with so much different stuff that I have that, you know, I can't see myself throwing this thing away anytime soon. And even once it does kind of fall apart, I'm probably gonna keep this sneaker around and make a video with it once a year, just because I kind of want to show, like, this is where I came from with sneaker collecting. And this thing is shot, it's beat, but it's not so beat that I can't keep wearing it. So I keep wearing it no matter what. And over time, you know, this is probably the one pair of shoes that has brought me to all the different places that I've been throughout the country. This is the one pair of shoes that I've been wearing during, you know, tons of different events. Kobe passing away and, you know, stuff like that. So I do think like these shoes, you know, they have insane sentimental value, but you kind of have to give the value to the shoe. It's definitely something that for me looks super good. You know, I love wearing this shoe with a tie-dye shirt because it kind of has a opposite type pattern. It has a black and white pattern. So black and white shoes with a tie-dye shirt looks really clean. Another thing that this shoe looks really good with is just this Jordan shirt that I'm wearing right now. I grew up a total Star Wars fan, so when I look at this shoe, I think of X-Wing type stuff. And actually, I kind of have this thing that I do where I look at shoes that, to me, remind me of like Jedi type shoes. So this is one of them. I actually got this Joyride CC3 here too, and this one reminds me of a Jedi shoe as well. So this is something that I actually bought to begin to phase this pair out, since this pair is, the sole is starting to wear out on me. But I just like that black, orange, and white color scheme so much that I actually went out, bought a completely different pair with the same color scheme. But I will say, between the two shoes, this shoe has a lot less sentimental value for me than this shoe. I think maybe at some point the Joyride will have a higher amount of sentimental value, but this is the pair of shoes that I wore around college campus for 4 years. This is the pair of shoes that basically got me to leave Wisconsin and move out west to the Northwest in the first place. And this is the pair of shoes that I was wearing when I came back. So sometimes a pair of shoes is more than just, you know, the hype behind it. Sometimes your pair of shoes is the story that you are telling in that pair of shoes. And I always think that it's important to reiterate that, because life is a lot more important than what's popular. A pair of shoes like this shoe means the whole world to me. It's a $50 pair of shoes from 8 years ago, but this pair of shoes has taken me so many different places. I never even expected the amount of places that I would travel in this shoe. I got a lot of good things to say about it, and I just wanted to say it's not a very complicated shoe. It's something that, you know, even the tread pattern is pretty simple. It has like a tread star pattern on it. Has a pretty simple pattern for the sides of the upper. The lace eyelets are nothing to rave about. Something that I really like about this shoe though is it's easy to put on. This big tongue and the nice leather inside of it, it's easy to fit your foot in there. I can literally put this shoe on without even touching the tongue. My foot just slides right in there after wearing it for 8 years. So there's something about this shoe that for me, it feels almost like an extension of my personality. This shoe, I wear this shoe and it means something to me. And you know, it's kind of weird, but I think that it's okay. You know, it's cool to have things like that, little objects or reminders or things. This is kind of a reminder to me of how far I've come. So yeah, this shoe to me just means a lot in terms of a shoe that was comfortable enough to get me where I needed to go, and it's still getting me where I need to go even to this day. 8 years later, after wearing this shoe for the whole time, still gets me around town, still gets me over to my friends' houses, people that I care about. So sometimes a shoe is important for not how expensive it is and not really how good it is, but for what it means to you. And I think that that's kind of what I wanted to get out of this video today. This shoe means a lot to me for quite a few reasons. It's kind of like you know, don't judge another person until you've walked a mile in their shoes. You know, these are the shoes that kind of helped me first tell my story, and that to me is something that's really important. I don't see a lot of this kind of stuff being talked about in the shoe world. Like it seems like nowadays with all the younger shoe pages that are coming out, everybody's excited because, you know, they got a new pair of Off-Whites, but that's hype. And hype is okay if you can be excited about that hype, but don't determine your entire life based off of hype. You know, don't determine your entire life based off of what's popular or what you should buy because everybody else bought that on that drop day. Sometimes, you know, things that are unique to you are really just unique to you, and you might want to cop them just because, you know, for you it's important. And that's kind of what I think about this pair of shoes. This pair of shoes is, for me, really important, and for anybody else out there, it's probably just a regular shoe. So that's kind of the point of my video today is, you know, try to be unique. Don't try to always follow the trends, and don't always try to follow the hype. Sometimes you can find a cheap $50 shoe, and that shoe does every single thing that you need to do for 10 years. And this is one of the major reasons why I got into collecting in the first place, is just the amount of miles that I walked in this shoe, and the amount of things that I did in this shoe, and the amount of time that this shoe has held up has just been truly amazing to me. So that's a little story about this one. I just kind of wanted to say, don't always follow trends, don't always follow the hype. Hit up my Instagram, Timmy's Kicks, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button if you can for me, and peace.
Air Force, dunk glass, crashing on the force. DOG, I be that nuclear Cadillac course. I don't even rain, either I ooze or I pour. In the next few years, we'll be flying over shore, son. Air Force, dunk glass, crashing